So I've been coming across these threads often lately, and for the longest time I've actually agreed with some of them and had a hard time justifying them. But here I am today, ready to debunk the crap out of them, or at least attempt to, but Shazam never not succeeds. Was Jiraiya a bad teacher, father figure, whatever? I made a poll on Twitter and on Instagram with only a few answers, and only one of them was negative. Which is one of the points that have bothered me for a long time, that Naruto only learned to make a bigger Rasengan in almost 3 years. And I can't blame them for thinking that, even though it's not hard to go through. I'll go over points like these throughout this video, starting with Naruto's birth. I often hear that Jiraiya is a horrible godfather who neglected the son of his favorite student, when that's simply not the case. He had no reason to worry about Naruto, who was in the hands of the third Hokage, not being fully taken care of but protected. The same could be said about Kakashi, but he simply has other stuff to deal with. For example, Jiraiya tracked down Orochimaru during this time to ultimately find out about the Akatsuki and Itachi being a member of the group. Finding out about their goal is the initial step of protecting Naruto. Now think about it. When was the first time Jiraiya took Naruto under his care? The answer is as soon as Hiruzen died. And when did he let Naruto go? As soon as Tsunade became Hokage. But then he wanted to be able to train Naruto while also keeping his mission to gather intel. So he took Naruto with him, but before he did that, he made sure that the Akatsuki won't make a move yet. Plus, Sasuke's body won't be taken over because Orochimaru needed 3 years to switch bodies. Which leads me to believe that Jiraiya is the main source of intel of any outside threats to the village. So the conclusion of the first point is that Jiraiya did care for Naruto but had to prioritize the mission. There were simply no threats to him at the time. The second thing I want to talk about is how he peeps on women in front of Naruto, exposes him to adult media or whatever. Now that might be true, but I wouldn't say that's much of a big deal when 12-year-old Naruto was already transforming into naked girls in front of the Hokage, who was also a perv. Are we really gonna ignore Kakashi doing the same thing in front of 3 of his students? Also, it's funny, unlike the Sakura punching Naruto piece of garbage kind of humor, this one will never get old. I'm not telling anyone to go peep on women as long as it's funny. Don't do that. I mean, how funny would it be for your grandpa to tell you money, women, and alcohol are bad, so I'll keep your money, and then you find him spending all your money drunk and with hookers? We'll call them sex workers to keep it PC. Sex workers. Not to mention that it's so irrelevant that it was never brought up again, likely because Jiraiya paid him back, obviously. My point is that it's irrelevant. I know you guys have been watching that crap since you were 10. Just keep in mind that you've seen more naked girls than your ancestors combined. Ultimately, what I'm saying here is that in real life, you would call that the cool uncle or whatever. The other argument I hear is that Naruto only learned how to make a bigger Rasengan in the time skip, so the development he got is negligible in comparison to Sasuke and Sakura. I'm gonna ignore Kakashi's comments on him having good timing with his techniques and stuff, like let's ignore that, okay? I'm gonna have to roast Sakura again. So Sakura was a 0 in part 1, and there is nothing lower than that, so she either remains the same or gains a new power. Power doesn't make you useful, by the way. Just saying. And I mean, being a 0 and then being trained by the Hokage herself would definitely give a spike to the loser's performance, right? Only if she punched stuff other than her teammates or the ground. As for Sasuke, not only is he a prodigy while Naruto's dumb, not only is that established to be Naruto's journey, you know, the journey of going from being a loser to being Jesus, but Sasuke had also been taking drugs to enhance his performance. Naruto did that naturally. So Sasuke is practically a loser. As for why Naruto's progress is so slow, Jiraiya did notice in training that Kyuubi's seal was loose, so he decided to loosen it for once to teach Naruto how to adapt to it. But the experiment failed, leaving Jiraiya in a near-death state, so a huge part of Naruto's training was a failure because he didn't have Yamato. And Jiraiya can't risk doing that again. Jiraiya can't risk exhausting Naruto either, because when Naruto used the Odama Rasengan, aka the bigger Rasengan, that everyone says is the reason Jiraiya was a bad teacher, he had Kyuubi's eyes, meaning it had already been taking up more chakra than he could handle. When Naruto was training to master his wind element, he needed the help of 3 teachers. One teaching him the basics, one giving him the experience of sharing the same nature type, and another to suppress his demon. Jiraiya didn't have the last one, so he couldn't risk it. He had to proceed with the training with caution, even though he did create a tag for that purpose. The damn genius. It's enough that he taught him in the month break how to to master the summoning jutsu and how to tap into Kyuubi's chakra at the same time, while Sasuke only learned to use a Chidori, and then in like a week or two, Naruto mastered the technique even stronger than Chidori, so yeah. Jiraiya tried to teach Naruto how to break out of a genjutsu, but Jiraiya isn't good at genjutsu to practice it, and I don't think the Toad Confrontation chant, a hidden sage art genjutsu, would be a good start. I'd say Jiraiya's method of teaching, not letting Naruto keep asking him to show him how to use Rasengan, ultimately paid off. He was teaching Naruto how to come up with his own conclusion and how to act according to what he has with his own effort, and not just depend on someone to show him. If you know the basics, depend on yourself. Jiraiya by no means is a bad teacher or a father figure, that's without talking about the moral lessons he gave to Naruto, and in the end was the inspiration behind Naruto's ninja way by the end of the Pain arc, a naive one but pure nonetheless. And as unrealistic as that sounds, it still worked in the Naruto world, and ninjas have come to understand each other. If Jiraiya was a bad teacher, then he wouldn't have trained 5 students who ended up becoming leaders of their villages. In the end, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if there's something else you want me to cover. Leave a like and subscribe, please. It really makes my day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.